Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Congregation Tiferet Israel. All right, here in East Elmhurst, New York, we're coming to you tonight with what was supposed to be a live debate between two sitting U.S. Congress people and two candidates running for their office. We're here tonight with Tina Forte and Tina hails from the Bronx, the Throg's Neck section of the Bronx, businesswoman, and she's been out there fighting for medical freedom and a whole lot of other issues in the Bronx and now in Queens as well. Along with her is Tom Zmitch, running for Congress in District 6. And Tom is well known here in Queens with the Magna organization and supporting small businesses and the law enforcement here in the local community as well. So please welcome both of these candidates coming in tonight. And thank you for the congregation for having us here as well. That's important. We're gonna start something a little bit different tonight. We thought we were going to have a candidates forum where we could go back and forth with questions from each of the people. What we're going to start with is we're going to start with 5 minutes for each of the candidates to give us a bit of a bio, who they are. All right, and then from there they can select from the audience questions that they want to take, and that's what the candidates will deliver. Danny Noble over in the corner here is going to come up and say a few words. Dan?
After when we had the DA race after we had the DA race when it was very close with what's her name in this area and city council and Caban, I said to people, I'm going to go into this district and check out the synagogues and try to see what's going on, in the Jewish community, if there's any life. I actually went to even the Bronx, Pelham Parkway. Actually, there was more life over there. And I came here on Tisha B'Av. It was a fast day. And, this synagogue was very well welcomed to me, and I helped them with the minyanim. That time they had the rabbi of the synagogue. Now, this synagogue has a real history. Matter of fact, Don Rickles was a member of the synagogue in the 1950s, and he used to do comedian. He actually did some comedian. So this shul is a very active synagogue, and they had a lot of Holocaust survivors that ran away from Europe.
Yes, and I'm the child of one.
And yeah. Well, I'm also. So there was a lot of Holocaust survivors in this synagogue, and one of the members actually, there was someone that grew up. I knew my neighborhood that grew up in this neighborhood, Eddie Millman. His father actually was the rabbi of the synagogue, and that family actually came from the same town as my mother, Michalovsa. And now, if you compare, all these people ran away from socialism, but there's a comparison to people right now in this neighborhood. We got people here from Venezuela, we got people here from China, got people here from Cuba. We got people that ran away from socialism, yet we have leaders that preach socialism. I mean, don't they know in the 1930s there were people preaching socialism and it didn't work? My father went to college and he used to tell me there were people preaching socialism in the 1930s. And they found out it didn't work. And the people that they get really sucked into this are the young kids. And for example, me and Edith Goldstein were doing the Bail Reform Act in this neighborhood. We were doing doing signatures. We approached a Cuban lady that her grandfather who was Jewish in Cuba, and she told me that her grandfather's business was taken away from Castro. yeah, her daughter was sucked into this, and we tried to talk to her. And I'm saying, you know, we got to try to fight this. And I will say that Tom Zmich and Tina Forte have been fighting for this for years. And they're not just candidates; they're fighters. And that's what I find interesting about these campaigns. They're not just you know, the people. Many times I would call up Tom, and he says, "You know, if anything going on, let me know." So I think that we'll have some interesting discussions over here tonight. And thank you very much for letting me speak. Thanks.
All right, so we've got the two candidates here. We're going to let them talk for a little bit, give them a bio, let them run through it, and then we'll see where we go from there and play it out. All right, we want to note, all right, and we do want to note that we put the signs on the chairs because they were invited. They actually were personally invited to be here tonight.
They turned it down, or they just ignored it?
They turned it down. All right, I know for a fact AOC turned it down because it's on tape. All right. I don't know about Grace Meng. Did she turn it down, Tom?
Nobody's ever seen her.
Nobody's ever seen her. Well, listen. So it's kind of appropriate. I see a lot of people here that I'm familiar with. All right. It's very appropriate that we have empty chairs here because a lot of them haven't been in their districts, quite frankly. All right. They serve the people in the interest of Washington, D.C., and other groups around the country when they go caterwauling all over the place trying to turn this country into South America. All right, so we're not going to let that happen, obviously. We're going to fight every tooth and nail that we can to make sure that that doesn't happen. And that's why we're all getting behind these two individuals running for Congress. All right, very, very important. All right, so the way we're going to do this is the good old-fashioned way. All right, in my house, ladies first. All right, so Tina Forte.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here. First off, before I speak, I just want to give a little message to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. This isn't the first time I asked you to debate me. I came to Columbus High School. I called you out then. I was at Locust Point in the Bronx where you sent a representative, and I'm here to say, debate me. You owe it to this district, and you owe it to the American people, and you need to face me, and you need to answer the tough questions. And if you feel uncomfortable because you're not in your safe space, well, you can pick the time and the place, and I will come to you, and you can pick the moderator. So, with that, I'd like to say, everybody, thank you for having me. It's beautiful in here. I love you all. I am a fighter. I was born and raised in the Bronx in Throgs Neck. I went to St. Francis de Chantal. I went to Preston High School. I worked my first job on Tremont Avenue in La Modestina. I raised my kids in the district, got married in the district, owned a business in the district. And I am a Bronx girl. I'm the real Bronx girl. I am the real Bronx girl. Okay, and I know Queens is my district, and I'm going to represent every single one of you just the way I represent the Bronx. Also, I want to let you know that after COVID was when I really became vocal, because I have a long story with COVID, so I'll keep it short. I ended up in the hospital because Cuomo denied me my medication of hydroxychloroquine. He had no right to do that. Okay, he's a dictator, and that's what this country has become. A bunch of dictators. They use COVID to pull power from the people, put it to them. And I say it's wrong, and it has to stop. They don't want it to stop. They keep extending their executive power so they can keep their power grab on us. And I'm calling them out. I fought for the children in the schools. I fought against the mandates. I backed the blue. Walked in the streets with a lot of my friends are here tonight. That I walked with the law and order flag in Manhattan. A lot of my friends are here that did that with me. And we took a lot of heat for that. We had bottles thrown at us, paint thrown at us, people wielding knives coming from underneath the flag. But we kept walking because it's something I believe in. Take the handcuffs off our police. It's time. Give them their qualified immunity back. Okay, because when I was outside Columbus to call out AOC when she did her town hall, guess what? She was there with detectives protecting her. She was there with the NYPD protecting her. They made sure that they were there for her. She made sure to call on them. Well, I say shame on you, AOC. You're a hypocrite. Make sure you put that on tape, because that's what she is. She's a hypocrite. AOC all out communist. AOC all out chicken. AOC does not own this seat. The establishment doesn't own this seat. The special interest doesn't own this seat. The people own this seat. Every single one of you own this seat. And I'm here to fight for every single one of you. As a congresswoman, I hold power of the purse. Not many people want to say that, because on both sides you have corruption. I'm here to say that if you defund our police, I will stand up and say we need to withhold your federal funding. I'm here to say if you push CRT on our children, I will withhold your federal funding. And I will call out Republicans and I will call out Democrats alike. Because I believe in freedoms, and they're taking our freedoms from us little by little. And I won't allow that. And as for the open border and the 10 cities they want to place all around our country, get online. Come in this country the legal way, the way our ancestors did, the way our moms and dads did, and our grandparents did. Okay? Because we are being forgotten about. America's looking like a third world country. And you all fled from that. A lot of people fled from that. And it's time to stop it. Because when they put the tents in Orchard Beach, I said no. I said no. Line up 81 million strong that came out and voted for Biden. Come and take an illegal immigrant and bring them home with you. Because when they were in Martha's Vineyard, they were sent home within 24 hours. They were gone. The National Guard came. They wouldn't even give them the courtesy of a hot meal. They gave them Cheerios while they had rubber gloves on. Shame on you. They didn't want them there, then you shouldn't be coming in at all. Don't come in here at all. Go back. Come in the legal way. And then we'll accept you. Come in the legal way. But don't. Close the border. The border needs to be closed. You have to worry about Americans. It's America first. That's what I stand for, America first. And I love our veterans. We have a lot of homeless veterans out there. For those of you who don't know about me, I did Spartan races before I had COVID. And I have my tattoos on me. I have my Spartan medal there, and I have my American flag tattooed on me because I love this country. My dad's a Marine. I have his Marine badge here. I have his Purple Heart here. I carry wounded warriors in the mountains to bring awareness, not only to the wounded, but for the veterans that commit suicide. A coffin on the course with 22 dog tags hanging to bring awareness to veteran suicide. Okay, I adopted my granddaughter because my son was 19 going on 20. He was a young dad, and the mom didn't want her. I didn't know she was a girl till she was born. The mom didn't want to have the baby. I'll put it to you like that. And I told her, move into the house, have the baby. If you feel the same way, I'll take her. I adopted my granddaughter. More money needs to go into adoption, funding for adoption. Okay? Because every baby deserves a chance at the American dream. And that's what's taken away from everyone. The people coming here legally and the people that are living in this country right now, the American dream is being stripped from us little by little. And not on my watch. As a congresswoman, I will support and fight for every single one of you. Thank you. But I will take questions from you. I will take questions from you since you're here and you came out here. So I have no problem taking questions. Yes, sir. Hi.
Miss Ocasio is very famous. She's known all over every state, every city, and she can get anything she wants from the president. How can someone like you, who has no experience, become more effective for the people in the district?
Because I will call everything out. On the local issues that I don't have a say in, that I don't have a vote in, I will shine a light on it like I did with the upzoning in Throgs Neck, like I did with the Orchard Beach situation. I will shine a light on it. I will call out your city councilman. I will call out your assemblyman. I will put their feet to the fire, and I will make sure that they take care of the local issues. Thank you.
In New York City, street harassment, minor assaults, and even full beatings on visible Jews are at all-time highs. New York City reported a 76-year over-the-rise rate in hate crimes during the first 3 months of 2022. So my question will you do to stop this tide of hate crimes? I mean, because personally, I'm all for law enforcement. And I did the breast cancer walk with the commissioner to the Department of Corrections on Sunday. And I was saddened because I saw so many people from so many groups actually missing. Well, we know that cancer is a major problem.
They're afraid to come out. Look at the bail reform. The bail reform needs to go. I oppose the bail reform.
I oppose it as well because I believe in human rights, and I don't feel that decent people, especially the elders, like I know what happened in your community, and I know that elders are being jumped and beaten.
Yes, they are.
Which is a disgrace.
It's disgusting.
And it never happened over here before. So, like, what's your stance? What are you going to do to work with the police department? Because I work with them and I help them and I'm out there. So if I see
They need to be more. They need their funding back. They need their qualified immunity back. The cuffs need to come off of them. The cuff needs to come off of them to protect the people. That's what needs to be done, and that's what I would do. So if you defund our police, I will withhold your federal funding. And if other congresswomen don't stand with me for that, I will call them out one by one until they do what I say. Meaning, you withhold the federal funding.
against that immunity thing because it's not fair to them.
Right. They can't do their job. They're afraid to do their job because they are becoming the victims because the qualified immunity was taken from them. Yes.
58 to 1
Yes. Yes.
with people that belong in mental institutions.
Listen, I believe the real heroes are our policemen, our firemen, our first responders. They're the real heroes. Not the football players. Not the football players. Our essential workers are definitely my hero in my eyes. I'm sure they're all of your heroes. I don't believe the football players are heroes. I believe all essential workers need a raise. I don't believe they should have lost their jobs over the mandates, and I definitely don't believe that they should be handcuffed right now. Take the cuffs off our police.
What would you do with the CDC now pushing down the vaccine for our children?
I saw that today. A friend of mine that his son goes to school with my granddaughter. He just sent me that just as I was sitting here and says, Tina, what are you going to do? I see they're going to, mandate the shot for the kids. I go, oh no. We're going to have to protest. The mama bears. We got to get the mama bears. I have a mama bear group. It was Moms Against Common Core, and we morphed it into mama bears. And we would go and we would call the school districts out one by one. So you mama bears need to rise, and we need to fight against this. And we need to fight against, not only the school district, you need to go to the unions. Randy Weinhardt, you got to go after her. Weingarten, you got to go to her office, and you have to protest. Because when you're protesting, you're loud, they do something. Because I called every school district, 62 counties in New York, I called them all out with statistics of what they sold our school children out for COVID relief. And guess what? My granddaughter's school is now getting new air conditioning with the money they got for the COVID relief. They're getting air conditioners now in the classrooms. The masks are gone because we started holding them accountable for the money they were receiving. So mandates on our children? Oh no. Moms, dads, don't let it happen. Be your voice. Fight with me. Stand with me. Do not allow this to happen.
Against open streets, because I got 28 blocks in my community that are sealed off with boulders where firefighters can die.
They can't get in.
Can die because no one can get through because it's an obstacle course.
Well, my congressional office will be open all the time, not like AOC who only decides to come in here 3 weeks before the election but doesn't want to face me. My office will always be open, and if there is an issue like that, you bring it to me, and I will bring it to the local office where it is, and I will put their feet to the fire until it's fixed.
All right, so you're going to fight.
I'm going to fight.
Okay.
Okay?
No, they can't.
Nothing can get through. If it's blocked off,
Videos on Twitter, Tina. Like even a child can tell
the
you
Department of
10
Education.
minutes a kid's the head was cracked open at 1:45, and you see it on Twitter. The ambulance and the fire truck is trying. They're struggling to get through. They cannot get through. This is talking about human life and safety here.
Let's try to hold it to one question at a time.
What would you do with the Department of Ed?
Department of Education.
Like they are pushing.
They're pushing wokeness on our children. What they're doing is sick. It's disgusting and it's sick, and it needs to stop. So I will, like I said, power of the purse and with a little protesting because I do have a big mouth. I will put pressure on them, and I will not give them federal funding if you push CRT on our children. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. We need real American values back in our classrooms. We need real American history back in our classrooms. You need to honor our flag. We need God back in our schools. That's what we need. Okay, because our children are falling behind, and it's not the money. They have the money in New York. It's the policies. It's the policies that are put in place by these Democrats, by the one-party rule. Give me a shot. You can fire me in 2 years if you don't like me. Give me a shot. Thank you. I'm not going yet. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you.
Tina's not going anywhere, but I want to give Tom enough time to come up and give a little bit of a bio, what he's doing, and hear his opinion on questions from you, the audience. All right? This is where it's at, where the rubber meets the road. Tom, come on up. Tom and I are fellow Queensites. We know each other for quite a while. Tom, I can tell you, because I fought with him in many different battles. All right, and he's up against Grace Meng. He's got his hands full, and I couldn't think of anybody who's better prepared to take it on. Tell him.
Thank you, Joe. Hello, everyone. For anyone who doesn't know who I am, my name is Tom Zmitch. I am running for Congress in District 6 from Bayside to Ridgewood, Union Turnpike up to Northern in that area, Northern Boulevard. Okay, one big rectangle. Okay, they changed the district around, which includes this area now, which was Ocasio-Cortez, the unknown congresswoman. And we'd like to extend a welcome to the people in the area so that they're familiar. They're going to actually have, when I win, they're going to actually have some representation down in Washington. It's not going to be about me and my personality, okay, like it is with Ocasio-Cortez. But anyway, I am a father, husband, veteran of the first Gulf War. 8 years I did in the Army Reserve, and I'm a union member. I'm retired, union member, 38 years in the Bricklayers Union, working in construction management of schools. We started back in 1987 with the School Construction Authority. I worked my way up from just being a regular worker into foreman, supervisor, construction manager, building a lot of the schools and trying to get ahead of the system with the population, with all of the immigrants coming in and building schools, and we're on top of our education to keep so that we have enough classes. At that time, we only had 1,000 schools. Everybody was at like 200% capacity. Now it's down a little bit, but the curriculum, part of the curriculum, we have some people in the audience who we were out fighting. Anybody remember a guy named Carranza? Okay, we were out there for 4 years trying to get rid of him and his woke agenda for our children here in New York State. Okay, we fought him, and we got him to leave a few of the town halls that he was giving because he couldn't take the pressure. Okay, it was all, a mishmash of everything, and he tried to pull the wool over everybody's eyes with de Blasio. We fought him, got rid of him, and he forced him to resign. Now we have someone else in there who now is pushing things back up to state level. Okay, and just let me give you a little bit of what we've been working on. Down in Washington now, our representative that I'm running against, Meng, and all of the Democrats, every single one of them, voted against a Republican bill that was put forth to stop anyone 18 and under from being allowed to get their own medical permission to do anything. You think about what I'm saying. They put a Republican bill to stop, to make it a national bill, okay, to stop anyone under 18 from getting medical coverage on their own without their parents' consent. Okay? And all the Democrats voted against it. All right? So it didn't go from the House to the Senate to get voted on and then go to the president like all the bills do. Okay? And this is where it comes in. Who is in charge? Who is doing what? Remember, we have like a one-party system here in New York now, and that's what it kind of is down in Washington now. That's why everybody on the ballot who's Republican, you have to vote Republican down the line. Okay? Everyone. Okay? And also me, I'm running on the Republican line, the conservative line, and the medical freedom line, because we have been out there for the last 2.5 years with the Medical Freedom Party. Okay, the Medical Freedom Alliance, which is everyone you can consider American, Democrat, Independent, Republican, everything, fighting this system, what happened with COVID. And have we all had enough of this trial run of tyranny and communism? I think we have. Okay? I think we have. Okay? We have here in the United States a thing called the Constitution. And no one, if I am elected, and what we've been fighting, is going to tell me what to do with my body that I am mandated for school, work, anything. It is nobody's damn business what my medical history is. And none of yours either. Or the government. To get a job, to go in a store, to show an ID, passports. Are they out of their minds? What is this? What is this? Communist China? Well, guess what? My opponent seems to be very familiar with Communist China. Okay? Very, very, no, she didn't. She was born here in America, but she doesn't speak Chinese. Okay? But she appeases the CCP, the Communist Party of China. Okay? Because we have documentation that a lot of things that she's involved in, nobody knows. She's quiet. She doesn't say nothing. Think about this. You've heard now that the Communist Party has opened a police station here in New York City. A foreign government opening a police station to monitor the citizens coming from their country and put pressure on them, and maybe they're shaking them down. What is it, like organized crime? And no Democrats or anyone has said anything about it. Who's funding it? Where is the money coming for this? This is why I need to go to Washington. Okay? Because we're going to find out what the hell is going on down there. All right? And that's what we need. It is our tax money. They're forgetting when they say they're sending $40 billion here, $40 billion there, 100,000 for this. Oh, we got money for tents. We got money. Whose money is it? It's our money. Okay? Our money. All right? And that's what they don't understand. Because she's sitting on $5-6 million in foreign investment in China. In all the overseas funds, she's got no investments in the United States. Okay? Not one. Look at her disclosure forms. Okay? All her money went right over to China. And guess what? That's why she didn't go with Nancy Pelosi over to Asia when Nancy Pelosi did her little trip out there, because she was afraid to offend anyone going into Taiwan. Okay? Because that might upset some of the CCP Politico people. You understand? Okay? Because she's going to get them all upset because you're not supposed to be doing that. You know, there's different cultures and different rules. And that would be like a slap in the face for her to be the representative, so she claims, of the Asian Pacific Alliance of people here in America. She's a vice chairwoman of the DNC. And the only reason she's there is because she's Asian. That's the only reason they put her there. Okay? To just be another face in the crowd. Okay? To make it look good for diversity and equality and all that great stuff they talk about. Okay? That's the only reason. Okay? And she's got the money to prove it. She's got the money, the big money, all big money from everywhere, and under the table to her husband and this and that. Her father, 12 years ago, was indicted and actually found guilty of bribery to the FBI. Okay? He tried to bribe the FBI with $75,000 during some kind of a meeting or something. It was a sting operation. They grabbed him. You know what happened to him? He served 1 month. 1 month. If that was you or me, we'd still be in jail from that time. Okay? So, this is the same situation. There you go. That's right. With the crime syndicate in the White House, absolutely. Okay? So we got a lot of work on our hands, but we got to keep everybody on target. On target, because we cannot have foreign nationals coming here and attacking and harassing and shaking down our citizens who came here legally. Okay? And our government's not doing anything about it. All the way up to Uniparty, that's in charge. So we have to get every single incumbent out. Every single one. Okay? One other thing offhand is this woman, Grace Meng, apparently maybe she's feeling a little bit of heat because in the last 8, 9 months, she's had President Biden come here. I've been running against her for the last year. President Biden, well, the resident in the White House, actually, who claimed on TV when he was here, right a couple of blocks away, whose district is this? Why are we here? Okay? So this goes to show you that, it's just in name only, in name only. Because she had Chuck Schumer come over down to Flushing about 3 weeks ago to help her along with the postal people, the postal union. And then just last week, okay, another lie, okay, by this woman, okay, she comes out and goes to an old age home out in Forest Hills with all the elderly people sitting there, wheelchairs, the whole thing, telling them that the Republicans, if they get in, they're going to take away your Medicaid and your Social Security. Okay? She had sitting there with Nancy Pelosi. This is in the newspaper. It's all there. I mean, I wasn't there personally. But I'm reading this. Well, how could that be possible for anyone to take away anything when Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House about 18 years ago that stole the $2 trillion from Social Security to begin with? Our money that was in there when they needed to close the budget gaps. Okay? She took the money out. She approved that. So she owes that money. You forget about who's going to take. Nobody's taking money away from anything. I'm on Medicaid. I'm retired on Medicare. Why would I vote against taking my own coverage away from me? What are you, out of your mind? Seriously. These people will lie, cheat, steal, anything to get elected. And then you're not going to see them again for another 2 years or 3 years or whatever like that. We know the system already, what's going on. We already know what their game is. Everybody has kind of woke up a little bit. When we started out about 4 years ago talking about this, a lot of people said, not here, not in America. Communism, socialism, nah, it won't happen. Look how far we've come. Look how far it's gone. But if we keep fighting, we will win because God's on our side and we will stop it now. Thank you. Have a question? All right. Question is this.
From both of you, what your feelings are on term limits for your position.
Term limits, absolutely.
Yes, okay. Term limits, I absolutely agree, because 42 years in Congress is a long time. 52, the guy who just died last week, is out of control, okay, because they've amassed so much power to themselves, and the lobbyists that leave office and come back and help is out of control. We need to put a limit on it. And I'll give you a little synopsis on that. I've gotten a call from an organization about the term limits. I kind of disagree with them a little bit. I agree on the term limits, but their timing, their times of what they want to do. See, if you understand the way it is, the House of Representatives every 2 years. So every 2 years you have to run. And what happens is there's so much pressure to run again and raising money that almost 80% of the time that you're in office, you're out raising money and fundraising and running around. This is the truth. It's just the way it is. Okay? It's just the way it is, and it's been that way for years because it's every 2 years, and before you know it, it's 2 years is up. Okay? They're proposing 6 years as House of Representatives. That's just 3 terms. Now, if you think about it, every 2 years, my suggestion is 12 years max, because By the time 6 years comes, you're just getting ready to learn the ropes, and then boom, you got to get out? No. Once you get in and you see this process, we have to keep some people in there that's going to know what's going on. Because 6 years, the turnover, take a look at our city council, and I gave them the example. City council here in New York, we have term limits every 8 years. Look at the mess it's in now. Over 38 of those people who got reelected, got elected last year, were first-time people. So you got more than half of the people the first time and still don't know what's going on. So there needs to be a little bit more extended. I not argue with them, but I try to explain why. Because even the Senate is 6 years. Now that they said 12 years, okay, which is only 2 terms. Okay, but what I suggested to them was maybe 2 terms and a 3rd term if they're the Speaker of the House. Because the Speaker of the House has to know the protocol and how it works, how the bills come in, how it's organized, the committees. Somebody has to be in charge of this. And that's how it works down in Washington. That's how come all of these Democrats who've been in there for 30, 40, 50 years, they're already on these committees and already doing what they're doing because they've already been there so long. So we need to turn that around, but we still need people in there that are going to know what's going on so that we don't end up with these crazy laws like 3rd gender on a birth certificate like they did in the city council here in New York City. Okay? But I agree. Term limits, definitely. So.
People are getting attacked in the subway. People afraid to have their kids go to school on the subway train. Grace Meng has supported every Democratic proposal to increase crime, reward the criminals, and take away our police protection, handcuff our police. Okay? When the Asians were getting attacked, she went to the Asian newspapers, the Chinese papers, and the Chinese media and said, do not report the race of the people that are committing the attacks. She told them that, not to do that. And the reason she did that is she could probably push a narrative that's a lie, that it was white supremacists that were attacking the Chinese. And it wasn't white supremacists. And she tried to say it was white supremacists and Trump supporters. She pushed this lie, which kept the attacks going, so people didn't know who was doing it, and it couldn't be stopped. So she's responsible for these attacks. And on top of that, Grace Meng has voted for critical race theory to be pushed in our schools, and she pushes the narrative that teaching math is racist. And so she's telling the Chinese community that if you study math, that's racist. And I want to know...
Yes, she agreed with that, yes.
What are you going to do to tell the Chinese people that Grace Meng is telling their kids to not to study?
We totally agree, Charlie. One of the big things that has been going on is they've perpetrated that, the Asians are 70, 80% of all the specialized high schools. I mean, we fought with all this with Karanja thing. They want to go after the top 1% of kids here in the city who are doing well, who might actually make something of themselves, while the rest of the other 99% of classes are failing. Totally. All right? Not even, I believe it was like 16% of the kids in public school actually passed the state test last year. They're blaming it on COVID. Yeah, okay, another pass the buck thing, another excuse, but we need more funding. We need more funding. It was $32 billion, now it's $36 billion. That's going to help. But funding, what? Your money. Give us more money. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. Doesn't it sound familiar? Doesn't it sound familiar? We'll use more money, more money. This has to end. This is not what our founding fathers wanted. There is too much power in government. Okay? And their overreach now with telling people how to run their lives and coming into their bedroom and everything. I mean, what you do behind the door is your problem. I don't want to know about that. Seriously. So we're going to fight these issues. We're going to fight this thing with Grace Meng, with the Asian thing, because one of the big things with her is we had on the number 7 train a serial stabber, okay, a guy who was stabbing 21 people on the number 7 train, which runs right into Flushing here. No Democrat said a word about it. When they finally caught him the 21st time, he was out on bail, no bail actually, in like 5 hours, and the cops gave him his knife back. Is this out of control? They gave him his knife back. So then they caught him the 22nd time, and then finally the governor or whoever, or Adams or somebody jumped in and said, all right, Judge, all right, you got to keep this guy behind jail. Well, that should have happened the first time.
That's right.
Okay? But now with the laws that change, and that's why down ballot, the only way it's going to change is with Assembly people and Senate people. And it's a big fight because they have the majority. They have the majority up in Albany, and it doesn't matter how you can yell and scream all you want. They have 40 Democrats to 23 Republicans. We have to win about 7 seats or 6 or so to bring it under a supermajority so they can't pass nothing without compromise, number one. That's in the Senate. In the Assembly, wait for this, it's 106 Democrats to 42 Republicans. That is a 65, 68 seat difference. We have to win 35 seats more than what we have in order just to make it even. We need to support these Assembly people and the Senate people in New York State. We'll take care of the job down in Washington because, as you've seen, people get ostracized for speaking out, like Marjorie Greene, Matt Gaetz, and all this, Jim Jordan, and even Ron Paul. I mean, he's talking about Ron Paul, speaking out about the money accountability to the Ukraine, writing a free check, $40 billion. Well, okay, I'll vote for it to stop Russia from doing it. But where's the money going? Who's accounting for it? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yet we got people on the street. We've got 86,000 homeless people on the street here. And let's bring in more migrants. Let's bring in more people. Let's build tents. They never did that for our homeless that were here. Right? Yeah. A question.
Let me just say one little thing that's not related to you. That young lady over there has the greatest commercial on Me Too.
I'm sure she'll get to speak.
Okay. Just tell me, when you get to Washington, hopefully you're going to win this election. Now, she's been in charge there quite a while in this district, this area. What's your initial game plan when you get elected, when you're just sworn in, how you're going to operate?
Well, some of the initial game plan is to go to the Department of Justice to get charges filed against ex-Governor Cuomo for what he did with the mandates in the nursing home. Okay? And as a congressman, I have the right to do that and put in authorization and request an investigation. And it's going to follow everyone else down the line with Fauci and everybody else who subjected our families, our elderly, our children to this absolute disgrace of this COVID crisis that they portrayed on us. Because even now, here it is 2 years later, the lockdowns don't work. It's proven scientifically. Follow the science. The masks don't work, and the vaccines don't work. And I am on the medical freedom line because of that, because I'm not vaccinated, and we won't ever take a vaccine, I'm telling you right now, because it takes 15 to 20 years for them to process it correctly. Okay? And then there's still problems. All right? And we have a rising autism rate here in this country because they're pushing all of these vaccines with mercury and lead poisoning in those vaccines. They're not being done correctly. They're pushing it because they want money. Big Farm. There's a Democrat out there who slipped and said, I support Big Farm and I will go against, you see, who saw that video, right? She came out right and said it. Right in your face, because they don't care about you. They don't care about nothing. They're in power, and you know what they say. That's it. So we need to get regular people like me and Tina with life experience, common sense, people to get together, protect our children and the future of this country. Thank you.
All right, hey, listen, everybody. We should be very, very grateful because we've got the Epoch Times here filming, and I don't know if they're live streaming or just filming, but they are live streaming. All right, so thank you, Epoch Times. We are subscribers, and we love the work you are doing. All right, also with us, we've got Newsmax. All right, and I don't know if I can say this right, John, but is it Liquid Lunch? It's something around there. All right, so we like the fact that Newsmac is here. We're also, all right, now we were just talking about this, right? For those of you from the Patriots, how many counties in Queens? 62, correct. All right, we live in Queens, one of the 62 counties. Kara, what county are you running in?
I'm running in Long Island, on the borderline.
What county?
That's Nassau County.
Okay, so she's running in Nassau County. So come on up and say a few words.
Hey, everybody. So for you who don't know me, hey, Tina, I'm Kara Castronova. I'm running for Assembly District 22 in, Dion, is that you making that noise? Okay. Okay. This is different than the Long Island crowd. But yeah, I'm running for District 22, which is right on the borderline of Queens, Elmont, Valley Stream, Floral Park, Stewart Manor, and those areas. Against a longtime Democrat incumbent, Swamp Creature, who's been in there for 10 years and 5 terms. So yes, there should be term limits. She's gotten very lazy. She does nothing for the community. Nobody's ever really run against her, challenged her, or called her out. And she's just your basic nightmare. Voted for cashless bail, voted to remove the religious exemption, even though she told all her constituents, because none of us believed in removing that. And I'm a very big medical freedom person. That's how I got into this. When I called her office as her constituent, I said, are you going to vote against the religious exemption? She said, no, I believe in the religious exemption. Then she went ahead and she was the deciding vote that pushed it out of the health committee and put it into the assembly, and then we lost the religious exemption. So these are all things that you should be paying attention to on the state level. So many things that they control. We found that out during the pandemic. There's a crazy bill called A6616. Just take out the 1 and it's 666. It's the bill where they're teaching kids about, how to be gender fluid and about sexuality in kindergarten when they don't even know how to add 2 and 2 or really how to read. They're already telling them about this stuff. It's way too young. So this is a bill that's supported, I think by 70 Democrats have co-signed onto it. So it's definitely going to go through. So we need people in there like me that's going to call that stuff out, and other Republicans are going to fight it. Because nobody knew about this bill, because nobody's paying attention, because they divide and distract us like they always do. And then these bills get supported by 70 Democrats. And I think that's enough pretty much to pass it, because the gentleman before me was saying, there's a supermajority and they could pass whatever they want. So we have to break that in New York. And then there's an even worse bill, I think, which is it's A6693, where any kid could sign their own medical consent forms to get any type of medical procedure. It doesn't even say limit it to anything. It could be sex hormones, it could be puberty blockers, a vaccine, psychedelic medications, addictive, deadly medications. Literally, there's no limit. And this is supported, of course, by Democrats. Really, I think it was to get kids vaccinated or also to get these gender hormone therapies, because what parent would deny their child a life-saving medical procedure if it wasn't something like the gender-changing hormones or the vaccinations? And this bill goes so far as to say, and everybody should look this up and call your local assembly person, tell them you don't want this. It goes so far as to say they'll tamper with the medical records of your child and remove what procedure they got, so you, the parent, won't see it. So they'll literally hide it from the parent, so you won't know if your kid got the vaccine. You won't know if your kid got a puberty blocker until, I guess, they don't go through puberty and it's too late. So these are the crazy things going on right now in New York with the really progressive left Democrats, and we need a balance of power, obviously, in Albany. And thank you. And I know everybody here is on the same page, right? We're all on the same page, but we all have those Democrats in our families, we all have them, we can't deny it, in our own household, who believe these, actually, most of them don't believe these things are normal. I was telling my aunt about these 2 bills yesterday, and she was like, it's disgusting, it's repulsive. And I'm like, Democrats are supporting this. And then she literally had a meltdown. She was like, oh my God, no, you're lying. Trump told you to say that, or something like that. And I'm just like, oh my God, the next thing we need to do after this election, and I'm really being serious when we're not fighting, obviously to get seats and get into office, is to really reach out to the JFK Democrats and the older generation. And there has to be some sort of PSA or elder people like them that explains to them how much their party has changed, because they don't agree with anything that their party is pushing down. Nothing, but they keep voting Democrat because they think it's the JFK Democrat Party, and somehow we're making all this stuff up. So that's what I'm learning when I'm knocking on doors and I'm talking to these older people, and I'm just like, It's really hard to tell them it's like these things and they don't believe it. So something has to be done about that. So just continue to reach out to your Democrat friends and family because they are on our side. They just don't know it. And their news program isn't telling them that. And I think that's the most important thing. And obviously, Tina and Robert, right, is the gentleman that was just before me? Tina or Tom? Tom, I'm so sorry. Tom, I didn't expect to speak like that. Tom, we all need you guys. I need you guys. We all need everybody. Lee Zeldin needs you guys to come out and tell your friends. It has to be like what happened with Trump, like the silent majority here in New York has to come out. Call up 5 friends. Like, did you get out to vote? If you know your friends are working on election day, let's take advantage of the actual the week before early voting, and also take advantage of absentee ballots. This is a thing that we do not take advantage of. Democrats have obviously really taken advantage of it, and in some ways, I think used it in nefarious ways, but. Absentee ballots, even though you can't mail out for them anymore here in New York, you could go in person and apply for them. So if you have elderly relatives that can't get out of the house, and you could go and you could pick one up if they sign an affidavit, then you could deliver it for them to the Board of Elections. And all of those votes count. The last thing I'm going to say is a lot of the very religious communities, reach out to your local mosques, synagogues, very Christian organizations, don't really believe in obviously telling kids about sexuality and gender when they're in kindergarten. And in my community, there's a lot of Muslims and there's mosques, and I've really reached out to them. And for the first time, I think in history of at least my area, imams and presidents of mosques are telling their congregation to go vote Republican across the board. And a lot of them, because they don't believe in putting the elderly in nursing homes, they all die in the home, so they're going to be handing in hopefully a lot of absentee ballots, because they have a lot of elderly people and people who don't leave the house. So we need to start using these absentee ballots to our advantage and just stop letting the Democrats pull a fast one on us constantly. So that's really all I have to say. Congratulations to the two of you for the great job you're doing, and to Tina. Too bad AOC couldn't turn up tonight to debate you. I know that you would school her. And thank you for everybody for listening to me. You could go on Cara for Assembly, CARA for Assembly. Share my video. It's on Instagram. It's a video, I kind of spoofed a Rocky video. I was running through the street because I'm a former champion boxer, wearing gray sweatpants and Converse and kind of talking about crime and the issues as I'm running through my community. And then I had the kids running behind me and stuff. It was really fun. So that was fun. So follow me there and support me in any way that you can. Thank you so much.
One of the things that Cara talked about is something that we talk about a lot with the Republican Patriots, all right? And that's how to get the message out. How do you do that? How do you start reaching out to thousands and thousands of people, all right? And what we created, we created the Queens County Beacon. It's our own newspaper. How many of you have ever heard of it? All right. Well, it's what Fox News used to say, Fox Business used to say, if you don't get it, call somebody and get it. This is our paper, all right? If you're not getting it, see me, see Phil, see any one of our ladies here, Elena, Laura, anybody, and become a distributor for us, all right? All it is 100 papers. You give them out in your local community, and you start spreading the information out there. That's how it will help Tom. That's how it will help Tina. And believe it or not, it'll help Cara. It'll help the judge. It'll help a lot of different people, all right, about what's going on. So, don't be Pollyanna. Don't be a wallflower. Get out there, mix it up. This is a door opener, all right? Not because it's world-class news or anything like that. This is our hometown newspaper, all right? Get it out to your neighbors so that they can at least get a sense of what the other side is talking about. All right, very important. All right, the other thing I'm going to say about that paper is the only way that paper survives is through advertising. And if you've got an advertiser, especially a conservative, Republican, independent, a blank advertiser, somebody who isn't a strong-arm Democrat from the progressive left, that wants to throw the cops in jail, spring the inmates out, and do 1,000 other crazy, insane things we just can't even imagine all the nonsense that they want to do, all right? Send them to us. We need advertisers. We need them every month. We've got to raise about $2,000 a month just to float that newspaper. So, you know, we really do need that. All right, so what we want to do now is you got a good flavor of who Tina is and who Tom is, who Kara is. Judge, do you want to get up and just say a word or two? All right, so let me make the proper introduction here. This is William Shanahan, and he's running for the member of the Queens. No. Queens Civil Court. Thanks. Do you know which district? Countywide. Okay. Well, Bill, congratulations.
Thanks very much. Good evening, everyone. Just a few words. You know, judicial candidates are the most boring candidates normally because we're not allowed to take political stance. But I got to tell you, I'm running county-wide, and I have good news. I've been in Rockaway, I've been in Middle Village, I've been in Corona, I've been in Jackson Heights, and everywhere I go, people say, "What are you running on?" I go, "Republican line." They go, "Okay, I'm going to vote for you." Every Democrat that I meet is angry when I tell them I'm running, and they say, "What line?" I go, "Republican." And they go, "Oh, okay." I had a judge tell me the other day that her entire family lives in Queens, and this year, for the first time, her entire family is voting Republican. Okay? So I'm not allowed to get political, but I have good news. We're going to win. Tina's going to win. Tom's going to win. Everyone's going to win. And it's going to be a very good year. But just to tell you a little bit about me, if you can remember to go to page 2 and tell your friends to go to page 2 when they vote, I'm on the bottom. Last year, there was only one Republican running for 2 seats. So I kind of got my vote split. I was running against 2 Democrats. This year, we have 2 Republicans running against 2 Democrats. It's me and another fella, Dan Kogan. And if you vote for me, then vote for Dan, and I think we're going to do good. I got 40% of the vote last year, which was kind of a precursor of things to come. Joe Casper last year was the first Republican in many, many years to win as a Republican judge. Yes, sir.
What's your name again?
It's Bill Shanahan. You can call me Shanny. Okay? So I just to tell you.
Normally that would be William Shanahan on the ballot.
Yes, right. They don't have Shanny on the ballot. That's right. William David. When I'm in this place, I'm David. W. David Shanahan. Yes.
Quick question. So I know Nestor Diaz is running.
Yes, I graduated law school with him.
Okay, you know he's running on both lines, right?
Yes. Nestor Diaz is a good man. The Republican Party nominated him. He went to St. John's like me, became a DA like me.
The Republicans nominated Nestor too.
Yes, I was at the convention. So there are a few people on the Supreme Court ticket that are both backed by the Republican and Democrats. One of the things that people should do, but they don't do, is look at the judges or prospective judges' background. I've been found qualified 2 years in a row by the New York City Bar and the Queens County Bar. If you look at my opponent, one of them, Gonzalez, she was found not qualified. I don't even think she attempted to be qualified. If you look at her background, she has very little. I don't think she's ever been in a courtroom. Yes, ma'am. Well, civil court is also criminal court. Since I was a prosecutor for many years, they probably would put me in criminal court. But for civil court, you either do regular, like small claims, landlord-tenant, or small personal injury cases. But more likely than not, I would be put in criminal court. That's primarily my background. Yes. So that's, criminal is where I probably would end up. Yes. All right. Yeah, one more question. Yes.
He ran for many, many times, so it looks like people maybe are waking up a little bit.
Yeah, I was with Joe last year when he ran, and they told him that he won, and he demanded a recount. It had never happened, and so he couldn't believe it himself. Yes. All right, so thank you all. If you could just pass the word. Thank you very much.
All right, so now we're going to bring Tina and Tom back up, and of course, my household rules weigh in here. So girls first. All right, so Tina, come on up.
Hello again. So I just, before I answer any questions, I just want to ask all of you if you would do me a favor. If you would take out your cell phone, take a picture or a video of these empty seats right here. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Film her. Tag her and tell her to debate me anytime, anywhere. She can pick the moderator in her little safe space, and I'll come to her. Okay? One more time? One more time. AOC, the empty chair right there, anytime, any place, debate me, pick your moderator in your safe space. I'll be there. Because I am so tired of these politicians just showing up 3 weeks before, jumping into the district, walking around playing pretend like they care when they don't. She's never around. She hangs out with the elites. She rubs elbows with the elites. She doesn't care about any of you. She used this district to push her radical left agenda. And I'm here to say enough. I fought very hard to be here. I was not endorsed by the establishment. I fought to be an America First patriot. I'm an America First candidate. Okay? I petitioned 2 times. Thanks to a lot of the people in this room getting me the petitions the second time, they couldn't kick me off the ballot. And I am the only one in New York that won the primary that was not endorsed. So you know what? She's afraid of me. So come out of hiding and debate me. Okay, questions? Yes.
My question is, how do you feel about the people like Pelosi getting rich while they're in office?
Absolutely wrong. I'm against it. I want forensic accountants on them. They call investigations on everybody else. Okay? Exactly. Nope, they should not get rich. Their family members should not get rich. Forensic accountants should be put on them. Anything else? Yeah.
I do. Many Republicans are talking about impeachment since they get into office once this red wave hits. Do you support that? Do you support impeaching?
Oh, Biden needs to go.
As well as Mayorkas and Kamala?
Kamala, who bailed out the rioters, you know, the one who talks out of both sides of her mouth. Yeah, I do. I'm for impeachment.
I don't oppose that question.
Okay.
Can you speak on medical freedom and your stance on that?
Yes, medical freedom. I'm 100% for medical freedoms. It was one of the things I fought for when I was against the mandates. It was that was really got me started. I came out of COVID, jumped in my car, and I just started ranting. And then I started taking it to the streets with protests, medical freedom rallies, New York freedom rallies. I stood shoulder to shoulder with business owners, small businesses that were shut down. I do not believe that the COVID mandate should be pushed, that shots should be pushed, especially on our children. I'm very upset about the text message I have. So I will be addressing that in a protest shortly, probably soon.
I mean, Tina, my question to you
Yeah.
is, wait. So in our history, and everybody in the house of worship, we know that we had things like the bubonic plague, measles, leprosy, like all these different horrible things. I mean, I got the vaccinations. I took the 2 shots in the beginning, then I took the booster. I haven't been well since I took the booster.
I'm sorry.
I don't encourage it on small children.
No.
Because they still have so much research to go before you go pumping them. Like now that it's calmed down and the numbers are lower, I do think that they need to look at the mandates.
They shouldn't force the shots.
Right, because it seems to
People shouldn't lose their jobs over the shots.
It seems to be going down just like any other place.
I have antibodies still. I was almost died in March of 2020, right after my 50th birthday. And I still have antibodies. I'm not vaccinated, and my antibody levels are still high. So they don't talk about natural immunity, and it should be talked about.
I guess I'm lucky because I never caught it and I was out there.
No, I had double pneumonia, and I had blood clotting. Wow. I was in bad shape. And then I came out, and Cuomo denied my hydroxychloroquine. And I put an Article 78 on him. Article 78 to fight for our freedoms. You know, because they had our freedoms taken away, and that's what an Article 78 is. So I did. I had an Article 78 on Cuomo and de Blasio.
I think Joe Murray did too.
They're handling it terribly. It's their policies that are doing this. The pandemic did not cause what's going on right now. It's the Democrat and their policies that cause what's going on right now. The economy's in bad shape because of their policies, their regulations, everything that's going on. They shut us down. A lot of businesses still didn't come back from that. I know because I delivered soda to a lot of places in Manhattan. Half of my stops didn't even come back yet. Half of my stops are still closed down. The stores didn't even open. The mom and pop stores, they're not open. The large corporations survived through all this, but the middle class stores and the mom and pop stores, they didn't. And our economy's in bad shape because of the policies of the Democrats and the left.
Tina, they didn't really survive.
They're closing. Well, yeah, that now, yes. Now, yes, Walgreens, there's a Walgreens I know that's closing down because of shoplifting right now. But in Manhattan, a lot of those stores didn't come back because they were forced to shut down in COVID.
One at a time, lady in the back.
Hi.
How are you and Tom going to be able to handle the situation with Rikers not being fixed up? Instead, they want to put jails in every borough. We don't want jails in every borough. Let them fix Rikers.
Well, I can tell you right now there's a problem going on in the district in the Bronx where they're moving inmates into Jacoby Hospital, 1900 Seminole. So there are a lot of people protesting about that. So I will look into that more. Tom, what do you think about that?
Well, as far as Rikers Island goes, last year I ran for borough president here in Queens. I ran against Donovan Richards, who, when he was on the city council, he voted to close Rikers Island. Okay? Which, unfathomable to me, most of the people voted for him, not knowing. Okay? Now, he's advocating, as you can see over in Kew Gardens, they have that jails moving right along. Okay? Now, remember, in the beginning, it was $12 billion to close Rikers and build the 4 jails. I believe right now the 3 other ones in the Bronx, are they building anything up there? I don't know. No. I believe they're just doing the Queens one right now. But when I ran, even when I ran for Congress the year before that, back in 2020, we already put together a package with me and my people for $4 billion. Okay, not 12, for 4. We will save Rikers Island, use the other half of Rikers Island for a rehab, for community training for homeless. There are empty buildings there. Okay, apprenticeship programs with the union where people can come out of the jail, go get their substance abuse programs done and whatever, go into these programs and live right there on the island. With that $4 billion is also included a new bridge, a separate bridge for the other side of the island where that, the gate, just make believe the whole island, split it in half, prisoners on one side and these people who are halfway people on the other. And they'll be ready to go. And there's also another program we call council housing that they use over in England. They used it after the war because England got destroyed. There was 42% of the population had nowhere to live. They built public housing. And over time, what they did was they ended up letting the people who are living in that public housing start to take ownership a little bit at a time every year that they were there. And then what happened was when it got time enough, they were able to sell and get the money from that to someone else who could move in and buy it for a good price. And eventually, most of those housing went private. The private people bought over the housing. Think about that plan, because we can do this. And when we talked to the homeless people on the street when we went out there, they said, if you put me in an apartment, I'll take care of it like it's mine, because I don't have to live in a shelter and be subject to rules and regulations, and they can take care of themselves and give them the services. We have the services here. It's the waste, fraud, and abuse of the systems that is destroying everything, because the Democrats are letting it go and just throwing more money at it, and it's not solving. We are here to go and solve these problems. That's why we're running. That's why I'm running. I don't want to hear about the problems. I want to bring solutions. Solution. Enough is enough. Okay? Enough. We need the solution like the bail reform and everything else, the crime and everything. We know how to fix it. Let's push it and get these people elected and throw out these bums that are in there and take back our city, our state, and our country. Thank you.
You know, Tom, it's kind of funny. When you were talking about Rikers Island, I was thinking of Fantasy Island, I'm thinking if Bill de Blasio had had his way, he probably would have put a nice multi-structure in there, an amusement park, a place for his Escalade to come rolling down and everything else. Nobody wants a jail in their backyard, but Rikers Island was the best solution we had here in the city of New York, and instead of destroying it, they should have made it right so we could help the people who need help and incarcerate the people who are beyond help. All right? There's another issue with Rikers Island as well, and that has to do with the COs on the island. All right, and they've got to be given the proper manning and the proper resources to do what, in a lot of people's eyes, is probably the most difficult job out here in the city of New York. And what is that job? Living in Rikers. That's what they do. They live in Rikers because they're so short-staffed. They're always on overtime, so they're not just doing 8 hours a tour. They're doing 12 hours a tour and sometimes even more than that. All right? So they've got the most difficult job out there, in the city because they've got to deal with some of this trash morning, noon, and night. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the mama bears. How fortunate we are. All right? We've seen it in the Republican Patriots over and over again. We see it with Tina, and, Tom, you're not one of the mother bears, but, we know you differently. Well, Kara, yes, yeah. She's one of them. Kara, wherever Kara went, Kara was another one of them. All right? There are a lot of mama bears standing up. And if you don't know how to stand up, contact us. We'll train you. We'll teach you. All right? We did something during the summer called the Seminar in the Park series. All right? And all it is we bring our lawn chairs, we form a semicircle, and we talk about the political environment and the structure in the state of New York in order to get everybody on the same level. All right? Because you have to start off knowing the basic information, the very basic information. And we've been doing that for over 2 years here in Queens County because we were sick and tired of knocking on Republican doors and them saying, "What party are you with?" The Republican Party. There's a Republican Party in Queens? Yeah, there is. All right? We're part of it, and we're asking you to do what? To join us, to be with us, to be active, to get engaged, to fight about these issues, whether it's CRT in the classroom or this absolutely insane thing about telling kids that they can be transvestites or whatever they want, and they're under 13 years of age. I know what I was like at 13 years of age. I was not ready for that decision. I'm telling you, I was into my basketball and all this other stuff. I wasn't even giving a second thought into sex changes and all this other nonsense that they bring inside our public school system. So there's a lot going on there. We're going to need Tom, and we're going to need Tina, and we're going to need Kara, and they're all going to have to focus in on the crime issue, on the economy, on so many different things. The border, the 132,000 people last year died of fentanyl, all right, coming in through our border. There's a lot going on, folks, and we need to activate you. If you're not activated, get activated before you walk through those double doors in the back of the room. How do you do that? You come to us and we'll get you busy. It may be just delivering a newspaper, all right? That's simple. Can you stand at somebody's door and drop off a newspaper? All right? Well, if you can do it, let's go. Get on board. Let's get your name, your address, your telephone number, your email, and all that jazz, and get moving. It's not something where you got to do it immediately. You can hold on to them for a week, let them go as you have time. All right? But we've got to get the message out there. All right? I know it's a bit of a broken record, and you may have heard it over and over again. But when Republicans get together, they're like elephants. hard as hell to move, but once you get them moving, they'll never stop, and no one will be able to stop them. All right. Now, you want to hear more from Tom? You want to hear more from Tina? All right. So, let's go, Tina. Come on back up.
My granddaughter's calling me. Hold on. Sorry, my granddaughter. Yes, I want to call back.
Tom, you come on up.
Okay, everyone, round three. I want to bring to your attention what some of the bills also, too, that they passed over the last couple of years. 1.9 trillion Build Back Better, supposedly, okay, which, didn't do anything for anyone, because even when that resident in the White House came here after the hurricane, everybody was flooded out and we lost 13 of our people here in Queens. There's nothing happening. They promised the world to everyone. They promised FEMA. They promised everything. I even signed up for FEMA. My basement was flooded too. I was told, guess what? You will not get any FEMA funds unless you were dislocated from your home. Well, I don't live in my basement, okay? But I had flood damage all over the place and everything that happened. So how many besides me had the same issue? That they were promised that $35,000 or whatever it was, because we're here for you. We're the Democratic Party and we care about you. Think about it. I've talked to a lot of people out on the street. No one got that check. Everyone got denied. There may be a handful of people who got that money. But guess what? The next bill passes, okay? The next Inflation Reduction Act. And they are going to hire 87,000 IRS agents to go after your money, okay? They don't care about the border and the 4.4 million people who are coming across unvaccinated, mind you. Okay, that they say American citizens have to be vaccinated to do something. They're letting them come across the border, spreading them around the country, flying them everywhere at your dime. You're paying for it. You're paying for it. Grace Meng says you have to pay for it. Okay? Now, not only that, Miss Grace Meng over here, who says that she's a woman's advocate for women's rights here in America, is allowing underage migrant women under the age of 18 to be flown here into New York without a word and be dispersed around Connecticut, New Jersey, New York to a sponsorship from a company, unbeknownst to who knows who. They found out a $135 million contract with the Biden administration to relocate these young women, not with their families, but with sponsors. Guess who? Isn't that considered human trafficking? Legalized human trafficking. This is what we need to put an end to. I've been in contact with some lawyers upstate who fought the state and everything like that. We're still trying to work out some details. We're trying to get a, what do they call that? An amicus brief or a motion put forth to a judge to put an end to it, to stop the flights until we get some clarification who the sponsors are, who the company is, and how are they vetted taking these young women who can be exploited and have no idea what's going on in this country, and we need to stop it. But the Democrats are letting it happen. Grace Meng, the woman's advocate, is letting it happen without saying a word about it, okay? Not to even mention what Joe talked about, the fentanyl. It's not 130,000, it's up to 289,000 so far this year already, okay? And this is uncalled for. This is not our America that we signed up for, okay? We are going to change that. We are going to get to Washington and change that. They are not going to like us in Washington. Like Marjorie Greene speaks out. They don't like her. But they're not going to like me. People don't like me anyway, but I don't care because I'm going to speak up for you. For you. Okay? Because I'm retired and I got nothing else better to do. Okay? Except break people's chops and get back our money that we pay into and make sure it's done correctly and where it's going and who's held accountable for it. Yes?
I was watching a town hall recently where some Democrats came to AOC and they were,
funding a proxy war against Russia.
Yeah.
Right, all right, because guess what? We have 51 states now. Ukraine is our 51st state, okay? And if you notice, a day or two ago, the president of that, quote, state is demanding his budgetary money from our government, okay? From us, okay? Now, maybe a lot of people don't remember a lot of stuff that happened in politics, but I do. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Bill Clinton, Obama, they all flip-flopped every single agenda that's out there. They all started out on one side, and even with the border, yes, we want a war. Now remember this, our previous president, the Honorable President Donald J. Trump, did not start any new wars in 4 years. The first time a president in like God knows how long, 100 years, that there no new wars have started, okay? And we tried to finish, and he tried to finish up against insurmountable odds against the Democrat machine that took over during the midterm. Now remember, this is a midterm again. And we need to make sure we take back that House. We take back the Senate. And we impeach that resident in the White House. Thank you.
Thanks, appreciate it. Listen, we hang on a second. We've got to close this out, and before we do, I've got to make an announcement. All right, on October 29th at the John F. Prince Post in Belrose, New York, you can learn about election integrity through the election integrity audit. All right, they are New York citizen audit that will be at this event. It's $40. It includes breakfast. All right, and it's on Saturday, October 29th, 2022, from 8 o'clock in the morning until 12 noon. All right, big event. You want to learn about what's going on? One of the things I do to tease this event, this is what I do to tease it, because this is one of the findings that they came up with. 20,000 votes came out of one P.O. box, U.S. Postal Service box, in Manhattan, in Jerry Nadler's district. That's one of their findings. There are a great many others. All right? New York Citizen Audit. Come down to the event. If you need a copy of the flyer, you can take a photo of it. Or I'll give you this one. Doesn't matter. Oh, they're on the front desk? All right, great. All right, now somebody else had a hand up.
Is going through PSTD, post-traumatic stress disorder, because at that time, like, we didn't know what to expect. Our children were going to school online, et cetera, et cetera. I have been advocating for a mental health mobile unit, the same way we have the breast cancer truck, the HIV truck, okay, with mental health practitioners, with dividers that people can just go in and say, look, this is what I went through, and get it all out, so that we can get back to where we are.
Yeah, it would be great if your state and city representatives recognized that fact and funded those vehicles, right?
Listen, I've been stressing that from day one. From day one, I've been stressing it. It's on the literature. No one can take that from me.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Humans, and the mind is the best, like the heart, the liver, the kidneys.
All right, we're gonna take two more. This gentleman here and this lady over here.
Those newspapers you have, they're very good. I go to the subways and I hand them out to the commuters as they're going to work. They're very receptive to that.
Yeah. If you're not on our distribution list, that is Laura Schmidt. Get on our distribution list. All right. We need to blanket the entire borough with this. All right. And the only way that's going to happen is if Laura has your contact information. If she doesn't have it, then, you know, Laura's right over there. She's down on one knee. All right. Yeah.
I use a banner
I don't know if people will pick it up from there. What we generally do is we leave it in shops, post offices, libraries with permission, stores with permission, and we knock on thousands of doors and we hand it out every month. All right, our 1 year anniversary will be this coming January. So help us make a splash. All right, we've been doing 10,000 to 30,000 a month with the newspaper, and we're trying to put a real dent into Tom's district and Tina's district here in Queens.
Yeah, we took the back page, the Medical Freedom Park.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Right. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Yeah, well, we're trying to educate the public.
I'm wondering, do you support or would you support stopping even legal immigration for a time to deal with this issue with the hordes that are coming across? The amount of people coming across is ridiculous. Not people who are already here. What do you feel about that to deal with this issue?
That's a good question. That's part of another issue that I have with Grace Meng. Because of the problem we have with the illegals coming in, 4.4 million, the State Department is overwhelmed. And what happens is the State Department is the one that processes the legal immigration. Our embassies around the world receive the process. All right, I believe that's the name of it. It's called going into the process of like people who are here bringing their relatives and doing everything. There is a Title VIII immigration law that says right now, which I want to change, there's only 480,000 people are allowed every year. That number has not changed since 1992. And I've written about it, and I've had a conference about it, explaining that the least we can do now to try to calm things down is at least raise it maybe 25% to 600,000. Being that we're getting 4 million, well, legally 600,000 can be vetted then. Let's, instead of these IRS agents, let them hire border agents, let them hire the ICE agents to go after criminals, let them hire more people for the embassies to process the paperwork, because what we found out is everyone who's, since before COVID now, going back to 2 years or even more, who's put their process in, and apparently it costs money to do that when you're in another country, to put your paperwork into the embassy. What we found out is the State Department put out a memo telling everyone in the whole world, whoever's legally in the process now, trying to get into America legally, they will not be able to get here. At least they will start processing their forms in September 2023, after they get rid of and go through all with the illegal stuff. Okay, you follow what I'm saying? So everybody who's waiting, who paid, who's doing it legally, is now put on the back burner. Our people who are potential citizens who want to do it legally are now put on the back burner. This is what we need to stop. The uniparty tyranny in this country is doing that. The Biden administration is responsible for that. President Trump had that under control, building the wall, with the gates. Remember, he always used to stress the gate. You can come, but you have to have a legal reason why. Now, what they're processing these, quote, refugees on right now, all right, through the refugee relocation services, is that they are refugees seeking asylum. But guess what? They're economic refugees. They're poor people who want to come here. That is not legal. So they are changing it. They have agents down in these countries explaining to them, no, tell them it's political. You were political. Tell them it's religious. They went after you. That's how you're going to get in the country, because that's the only thing that's allowed for political asylum, religious asylum, persecution, you know, like Christians in Syria or something like that. Okay? This economic suffering is not a legal term to get into this country for. So this is what we need to stop. Why we got to take back the House, take back the Senate. Same thing here in New York. Okay? We are on top of this situation. You can go to my website, Zmitch2020.com, because I ran 2 years ago and everybody's familiar with it. It's the same site, same answers. I'll answer within 24 hours. You know, sign up, get in there, get involved, go read what we wrote down there and what we have on our website. We got our videos, we got everything. And please, like I said, Tell your friends, your neighbors, and family, at least everyone in this room, if you tell 5, 10 people, get them out to vote. We only had 17% last election. Eric Adams won mayor with 3.3% of the registered voters. 3.3, a little over 200,000 votes. There's 8 million people in this city. Think about it. We need to get out and vote. Get out there. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, we're going to close it out with a prayer. As you will. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Father, pray for our candidates. Pray for our patriots. Thank everybody for coming out tonight, listening and learning about the political process, taking action, and working to restore our democracy here in America. We pray that everyone will go home and get home safely tonight. To that we say, amen. Get home safe, everybody. Thank you for coming out.
This doesn't go in that.
Goes down.